welcome to Node Spaghetti. I've got a huge update to share with you today. This update is called the Curves update because it's all about rigging with curves as our guides. So you see we have all of the bones in the tail here, and these bones at the top where the plates are, and the spine and the neck of the Stegosaurus. They all get set by these guide curves. You can see they've got different colors, so there's a few different ones. It's a little bit easier to see like this. See that? And the awesome thing about the way this works is it uses something called Schema, which is like a node group, but you can tell it how many times you want it to execute. And each one of these segments is a single iteration of the schema. So if we go down here into the node group and we just change this number of segments in the supertail component to 16, give it a second to think, and here we go. We've got 16 bones. And of course, we're going to need to update the automatic weights again, right? But 16 bones in the tail, and it just works. By the way, the Stegosaurus is using a new IK spine and super tail and super neck component, which I'm going to be adding to the component pack. And the Stegosaurus model itself is going to be on my Gumroad, and I think I'm also going to make it a Patreon reward for Patreon supporters. Let's talk about some of the other big updates. So one of the first things you're going to notice if you haven't used Mantis in a while is that it's a lot snappier now than it used to be, because it doesn't have to stop and think about things when you change node groups or at other sort of random times when it was updating, because now it checks to see if a change has occurred, and if a change has occurred that doesn't involve a new node or a new connection between nodes, it doesn't have to update everything. It only has to update the part that changes. And in fact, sometimes I'll show you real quick, it doesn't have to update anything at all. It just fixes it live in real time. So I'll go ahead and move the twist controller and the curl controller here. And let's look at this bone right here. This is the switch bone that switches between the IK and the FK controller. And you can see it has an IK constraint right here, an FK constraint, and a twist constraint. FK, IK, and twist. And these are generated by these nodes right here. Look what happens if I modify the influence slider on the FK constraint node. The whole thing changes in real time. See that? And what's happening is this constraint is getting turned off on all of the nodes that are created by this part of the graph. And a whole bunch of different constraints support this live real-time feedback thing on a lot of different parts. So I'll show you over here. If it doesn't stop and load, then it's handling the changes in real time. And so that's just super awesome. It's a lot easier to use. It's a lot more fun to use. It's a lot more responsive now. Let's see. I've added a whole bunch of new nodes for dealing with curves, which they're in the change notes. But some of the things I want to point out are these new choose nearest. There's a choose nearest point and a choose nearest transform. And so one of the things you're going to notice here is that the plates, there's 5 of them. There's 16 bones in the tail. So how is it that I make this plate a parent of a specific point on the tail? Well, actually, the plates follow a curve. And the curve has hooks on each of its vertices, but it's not important to get into the details of it. The point is, each one of these bones has to choose a deformed bone in the tail to be its parent, and it has to do that no matter how many bones there are in the tail. So if I go into the tail and I change this to 8, you can see it still works. Obviously, we got to fix the weights again, but it still works. And it's because each one of these plates is choosing the nearest one of these bones with this choose nearest transform node. There's also nodes for getting points from a specific place on a curve and finding the right place on the curve to get the point. There are some new nodes for dealing with matrices. There's an invert, a compose, and an align roll node, which are very nice. The hook deformer has gotten a lot of improvements. You see here it is. Now it's got a spline index. Actually, everything that deals with curves has got a spline index socket. I'll show you real quickly what that does. If you have a curve with multiple splines, like this, you can use the spline index to select which one of them. So, and Blender just starts them in order of creation. So it's I think you have to go up here and have it show you. I'm not actually sure how you can find out without just trying it, but this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So that's kind of an advanced feature that you can use to organize things if you want to. It also has an influence slider. It can affect the radius of the curve. So let's go ahead and look at that. go ahead and have this curve extrude into a ribbon. And now let's get our spline IK. So you can see the curve follows the hook here. But if we change the size of the hook, it also changes the radius of the curve. Now, it's not doing anything on the rig because it actually is not helpful in this particular case. But you can have the rig affected by the scale if you want to. I didn't do that in this case, but so that's powered by a driver that Mantis creates automatically for you. It just makes things a little bit easier, and it has this auto Bezier function, so that if it's a Bezier curve, it will hook an entire Bezier point. See how the handles follow me when I move the control point around? It's really annoying to set that up with the hook deformer if you don't have this auto Bezier thing turned on, because you have to calculate like which order the handles are in or something. But anyways, you don't have to deal with that because now you've got a feature that you can just click a button and it's a lot easier. Let's see. Speaking of curves, there's a new tool. So here's a Bezier curve again, and let's add a few more segments. And let's say we wanted to convert this to a NURBS curve so that we could deal with the individual control points just a little bit more easily. I've added a new tool. Just press F3 to search, and then search convert Bezier curve to NURBS, and it'll convert your Bezier curve to NURBS for you. It's real easy. Let's see what else. Tons of bug fixes, especially for Schema. There's a bunch of UI improvements in terms of like warnings that happen when something goes wrong in the graph. Yeah, we've already talked about the new some of the new nodes. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna edit this, but I think this is gonna be my last take. Let's take a look at some other examples of what we can do with this. So this elephant right here has a trunk and a tail and a spine. So it's also using curves to set up this spline IK or IK spine rig, and this tail and the trunk. And you can see it in animation here. And by the way, the elephant model is something I threw together in like half an hour because I didn't want to actually make a good elephant, so I just made like a really quick low poly, and I'm very happy with it. It's not important. Sorry. Here's an ostrich, and the ostrich is I won't let me select it. Oh, there it is. The ostrich is a bird, so we want its head to kind of stay in the same place when it moves around. So you can see the IK neck controller here, the super neck, doing that for us. Rather nice. Now for a real like production bird rig, I'd probably do something a little bit different than this, but it's good enough how it is. And finally, we also got this like weird branched thing. But maybe you could do like a tree or something. But anyways, you can see it all just kind of works. There's lots of different things that you can throw at it. Okay, cool. Anyways, that's the update. I'll be recording videos about how to use Schema and curves and stuff now that I've fixed all the bugs and I know that I can do it. And I'll be making a series about the Stegosaurus, so watch out for that. Sometime during this month, I want to develop some features and make a tutorial about modding games. So support me on Patreon and help me to do all this, because I just spent the last 3 weeks obsessively programming in order to make all this stuff possible. And I want people to start reaping the benefits, but I also need to reap the benefits because I'm very, very poor, because I spent all my time programming. So like I said earlier, the Stegosaurus is going to be a Patreon bonus, and the component pack already is, and the component pack very soon will get a free update to include the spline IK like tail thing, the IK spine, the neck, and maybe some other things. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what everybody makes. Join the Discord, join the subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, follow me on Twitter, share stuff, all that. And I'm eventually going to make other social accounts. Just I don't want to deal with all that. But yeah, that's all.